You see what I'm saying? And we see that these Nazarites, which a lot of people think of Bob Marley when they see a dread. I don't even know why they call it dreadlocks. There's African locks. There's nothing to dread, and that's why they call it dreadlocks, not African locks. It's mystic, spiritual, sacred African locks. You understand that depict the ancient Sufis and the ancient Nazarites and the ancient African mystics who understood that. And you see many of the African traditions with the hair today. You see? And you see right here, wigs in ancient Egypt prove that the Egyptians had coily and spirally hair. And so all throughout the Nile Valley, you see these Nazarites, you see these in what we call Sufi mystics. Long before Islam. Ain't no goddamn Islam got nothing to do with woolly-headed Christ figure, mysticism, African mysticism of the ancient world. Even when you look at the war crime, of ancient Egypt, you see the spiral inside the crown, symbolic of the hair. You understand? Number 6-5. All the days of the vow of his separate. We talking about the Nazarite. And then you talk about Jesus of Nazarene. You know what I'm saying? Which is nothing, these is all, occult understanding of Osiris that's far older than anything that you can ever read in the Bible. Okay, so don't get it twisted. We just using these modern manifestations to transport deeper, to go through the portal with symbolic of the serpent, the dragon, to teleport through time. See, all the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled in which he separated himself from the Lord, which is serpentine, O-R, Ouroboros, Gorgon. You see the O-R is serpentine. So when you talk about the Lord, when you talk about the serpents of ancient Egypt, you see the crown on their heads to symbolize rulership and sovereignty. He shall be holy and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. Okay? Throughout the term of his vow as a Nazarite, no razor shall touch his head. He shall remain consecrated until the completion of his term as Nazarite of the Lord. Okay? All the days, number 6-8, all the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Lord. So you got to understand that. You see what I'm saying? That's why you got to understand the divinity of your hair. Because the consecration of his God is upon his head. You see? It's upon his head. And that's your hair. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head. Okay? And so we went through that. And so when we go to Psalms, and I didn't put you can go in there and look it up your damn self. I think it's Psalm 25. Thou anointest my head with oil. Now I put something up there. We know that this is just some oil that use melanin. The oil, is melanin. When you talk about it, he anointed my head with oil. That's the Christ figure. That's the black Christ figure. And the oil is melanin. So we talking about our hair, which is our crown. We talking about the pineal, which is the seat of the Almighty. Now we're going to be dealing with some Sufism in Senegal. Right there, you're looking at the Grand Mosque of Touba. You understand, which is the Mecca of West Africa. This is where the brothers and sisters go to their pilgrimage. They don't go to Mecca a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't either. Goddamn it, dealing with the racism of them Arabs over there. And plus, goddamn it, you in Africa is the Holy Land. The hell you gonna go to another man's land talking about holy? You in the Holy Land when you in Africa. So this should be, and we got to go all the way a lot of times. We still dealing with, partially, you know what I'm saying, foreign entities. And we got to go all the way. But, in dealing with the Sufism in Africa, we see a lot of the African culture still connected with these brothers and sisters. And so you see Touba in Senegal, you understand and we have to just take the time, do some research. Now with the African locks, we're going to deal with one Sufi group, which is a part of what they call the Moorites. You know what I'm saying? Which is a form of Sufism. I don't necessarily agree with the Pale Arab that they, got some connection to, but, we talking about I would say a denomination of the Moorites, which is in Senegal. Now, the Moorites is all over West Africa, but we're talking about denominations of that Sufi order, which we call Baye, which is in Senegal. And you see right there, you know what I'm saying? We talking about the dark melanin. We talking about the woolly head mystics, and they are mystics. When you're dealing with Sufism, you're dealing with mysticism, and we're going to break it down, which they don't do in Islam. And Sufism is shunned and called, heretic in Islam, because they still hold on to many of their African traditions, such as wearing talisman, which you see over their neck, that ain't no damn, you go to, over there with them pale Arabs, they're going to look down on this. They ain't going to see no Muslim right there. You know what I'm saying? But, these are the Sufi order. And, the Sufism is the African tradition. You understand? This is the African tradition. And you see they wear they locks. You see what I'm saying? So this is really what it means. They're going to tell you, when you talk about Sufism, they're going to talk about some coats and shit. Like there's some Tibetan monks came from the east wearing lamb coats and shit. Man, that ain't got nothing to do with a goddamn thing. They always lying. They dealing with these woolly head African mystics. That's what they talking about when they talking about the wool. Because it go back into ancient times. You understand? You can't go to Tibet. Tibet is some some Johnny come lately. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing ancient about Tibet when you comparing it to Africa. It's yesterday. And so you see these brothers that, you couldn't look at them and say that they was Muslims. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the African tradition that they hold on to, and which is very beautiful. Now, in that Sufism, they also have shrines, and a shrine is it could be a building, it could be a tree, it could be where a holy person, a saint, has been attributed to that building, and that the mystics and the pilgrimages are taken to that building so that they could pray and venerate that saint, and pray for intercession, just like the Catholics do with Mary, to intercede in your behalf on the people. You know what I'm saying? For the people. You see, and so there are shrines which is not typically a lot, which they say, but the guy and they say that is not accepted in Islam, and they got a goddamn shrine to every little fake prophet that they want to venerate, Ali and Umar and all the rest of them. That's not looked at as no shrine. So when a Muslim go to Umar's a mosque or his burial, which ain't no Umar in there, then that's not looked at as a shrine. So, the only thing they mad about is because these brothers and sisters got an African saint. And, they don't like that. You supposed to be venerating that pale Arab. And so you seeing all throughout, the United States and many European nations where they trying to ban African hairdo. Because they know the power in that. Where you can't wear, these is our traditional, what the hell we look like, and we understand the origin of that. You understand what I'm saying? We understand the power of that. That's why it continues on for thousands and thousands of years, unabated. Another black student suspended for his African locks. Okay? And so they understand. So that's the negativity that they have on that, because they understand that the serpents of the Titan, Medusa, which was, a beautiful woman, but was cursed hideous. You see what I'm saying? Was cursed hideous. The same serpents on the head of Medusa is the same serpents behind the head of Buddha. And then also Jesus was, compared to the brazen serpent, the healing serpent, which you call the caduceus. You see what I'm saying? So he was also compared to the serpent. And so we see again that, there is a story that is yet to be told. So when you talk about the sheep with the woolly, that's the woolly hair. You see, when you talk about the goat, then you're talking about the straight hair. That's what you're talking about.